make an abstract painting with what I see. And I'm going to use a little bit of spray bottles. I got some glue there. I'm going to glue stuff on, like maybe a little bit of composite stuff. I got some palette knife. I don't have any brushes at all, so I'm just going to do everything by either palette brush or just by picking up things off the ground. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a couple of leaves here I like. Let's see. The leaf there. Little leaves here I like. Little shapes. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and spray. I think what I'll do is I'll my spray bottle. I'm going to use the bigger spray bottle. I'll wet the paper a little bit, okay? So, just going to use a spray bottle. I'm going to wet the paper. So, just a light coat of water to get things started. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue down here. A little bit of glue. This is Elmer's glue. Drop a little bit of glue down here, top of the paper, just abstractly, not preparing anything. Okay, a little bit of glue on the paper. Now I'm going to pick up some pine needles. Some pine needles here on top of this, and then I'm going to go ahead and put these leaves on top of this. And what I'm going to do is take a piece of tape, just play with that also. I got some. I got some green frog tape here. Take frog tape, put a little bit of that on there. I'm going to tear it up into pieces. That way I'll put some of this down. That'll keep some of the stuff in place. Keep some of this. Keep some of these things from blowing away. I think I'll put a few more pine needles. I like those pine needles. We want to get pine needles on here. Okay. All right. So then I'll start out with a bit of palette and bottle dot sprayer sold exclusively on Everett Watercolors. I got the yellow orange in here. I'm going to put that on. I'll put some orange in the background on top of this white. So I'm just kind of splattering, just spraying that in there. You can see the colors really popping out. Then I've got one here with the dot sprayer with burnt sienna in it. Burnt sienna. And I shake it up a little bit. Some Payne's gray, get some burnt sienna back in there in the background. Okay, and I'll spritz a little bit more of water, just keep it nice and wet. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, so it's all experimental. Put some more leaves, put some more pine needles on there. Now I'm going to take the palette knife, and I got a palette knife here. I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow, kind of spread that around on top of this. The palette knife, little palette knife technique. And as this dries out, I may start taking stuff off of here so I have get a pattern of some kind on top of this. And I've got a little bit of pyro red in here. Take the palette knife, get some red in there, some color. That yellow mixed in with that red will give me some orange, some bright orange. See? And then what I'll do now, I'll go in with a spray bottle, kind of loosen that paint up a little bit. So, now I'll go in and play around with that color, mess it around a little bit, move it around, get that color out. Go red. I'll go take the orange, the dot spray bottle again. Some more orange in there. Use a dot spray bottle. Okay. Wow. Okay. Let's see, put this in here. Okay, of course it looks like a mess. I want it to look like a mess, but it's going to be abstract, okay? It's going to be abstract. I'm going to let that sit. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to work on the other one. Just put this aside, let it kind of dry a little bit more. I'm going to move it around a little bit. Now I got the one with the cool background. And I thought I'd do there was put in, maybe put some of these brown leaves, these warmer. Put some leaves in there. On top of that, pick up leaves right off the ground. Pick up some pine needles here also. Just pick up a little bit of pine needles. Pick up some more. There's a nice big leaf. I'm going to play around with it a little bit, move stuff around. Okay. And what I think I'll do there is do a little negative painting. Cool colors. Yeah, now I got cool. Now add a little orange on top of that blue. And then I'll hit it with the spray bottle. Get a little more water on there. Now I'll go to my cool part of the palette. These are blues and purples. There's some more blue in there. Purples. What I might do, I'll just try to pour that in there. Just pour it on top of that. A little more spray bottle. sienna. I'm going to straighten my bottle out. Show my sprayer out here. I'm hoping what'll happen here is when this dries a little bit more, I'll be able to pick up the negative part of that. Okay, well, so far I got this one here with the warm background. I've put some cool colors on top of that, hopefully, but most of it's warm. And I can move it around just a little bit. I think what I'll do, I'll take some of this stuff off and see what's happening. Okay. Let's take off some of this tape, see what's going on. Still got the painting, the background painting I had in there to start out with. I'm going to tilt the paper around a little bit, get the paint to flow around, the paint to move a little bit on top of that wet paper. See, I'm getting the texture here, right there. I like that. See how the water's flowing right here in this section here. It looks like rough edges. Getting the shadow from the camera. Now that's coming along pretty good. That's all red right now. Okay. I can loosen up a little bit of yellows. So let's put this down here for a second. Let this other one sit for a while. Let's see. I've got some of this yellow gold. Loosen up. Take that red. Put a little gold in there. A little yellow gold. There, okay. We'll let that loosen up a little bit. So abstract wise, it still has the indication of a leaf back there. I'm still going to save that from the original painting, and then I'm going to tilt this around. So let it really flow. Let it flow down. Turn it this way. Let the water run. This way. I like those little patterns that the water's making just by running down on the spray bottle. Okay. Now I'm gonna leave some of those pine needles in there. Let's see, I might put a couple more. I like the idea of having the pine needles in there on top of the painting. Lay flat in there, and it'll dry on top of that. So let's leave those alone for a little while. I'll let that sit now. Okay, now we'll come back to this one. This is the one with a cool background. Let me take off the leaves and stuff off of this one. A lot more whites over here. Leave some of those pine needles around. What I'll do here is I'll pick up some yellow on this leaf. I'll use that as a stamp. Some yellow in here along with the blues and greens and so forth. Okay. I'll pick up a little bit of red. Using a palette knife. What I think I'll do over here, some more pine needles here in this section, and do a little spray bottle on that. Okay. Also take a paper towel here, blot some of that in. So I'm gonna leave this in a little more white paper on this one, and I think what I'll do is I'm gonna glue in some of those pine needles. Just pick up my glue here. Got my glue, some glue in here. I'm going to spread that around with a palette knife. Spreading the glue around. Then I'm going to put some of those pine needles in there so they'll stick. I'll put some more glue in there, be sure they stick. So I'm gluing the pine needles now on the paper. A little collage using pine needles. Collage. So this will be part abstract, part collage using the pine needles. Okay. All right. So I can take some of this darker color here and go around some of the edges here. Kind of bring the eye into the center here where the lights is. The light's on the inside. I'll take that spray bottle, put a little water on that paint I just put on there. Okay. And I'll let this one run a little bit. Hold this up and let it run. Some of the color to run down into the center a little bit. I'm going to run this way. I'm going to keep this area white here, but the outside I'm going to have a little bit darker edges. Control the flow by moving the paint, by moving the board around. Okay, all right. So those are my two paintings today. I got the warm panel with the leaf in there. You see the leaf with all the reds and yellows. Then I got the cooler panel with more pine needles and so forth in there. So those are the two. Those are my two abstract, plein air, playing with colors. There I are. There I are. Okay, I'm going to take this back to the studio. I'll let it dry. Then I'll take some quick movie shots of it after it's dried and see how it all turns out. And I may add a few brush strokes on top of that. So back in the studio, I'll do maybe a little touch up. All right. So that's the end of the session here on the plein air session outdoors. I took the paintings back to the studio, and I did a few changes, not much, but just kind of enhanced the colors a little bit on the borderline of the cool background. But you can see I still have the pine needles, and I got a couple leaves there also attached to collage. I used Elmer's glue there to glue those on, and then but they're sealed. And over here, I went and darkened up some of the veins on that large leaf I had started. So I got the shadow of the old painting on there, but it's all covered in now with different colors. So that was the warm background painting, and I added a few. Here I put brush strokes here with the rigger brush for the pine needles and so forth. So there's no pine needles on this one. This is all painted on. So I painted those on in the studio. So those are my two abstract paintings from outdoors. I really enjoyed doing that. Just something I haven't done in a long time, but just a little abstract, capturing some of nature, some of the colors out here in the woods. You can see the leaves on the ground. Lots of things to paint. There's lots of things to paint.